We are going to today shell this part. As we know, we've discussed before, shelling saves money for rapid prototyping. If you're doing CNC machining, it's just the opposite. You deal with the surfaces only. But in this case, we're building it from the inside out. So we want to shell this. There's two ways to shell a part, and ViaCAD does something quite interesting. If you click on the part, I put in 0.063 inches as my shell, and then you click into space on the screen, not touching anything other part or other line or surface. It automatically shells it. Let's take a look at it and see what it looks like. Transparency. Apply. Oop. Didn't like that, so back over here. Transparency, we can see the whole thing has been shelled. But in this case, I may not want to do that, and I want to do that. Feature, undo, shell. And the reason why I may not want to do that is that if I may want to have access to this part. So a way of doing that is to shell just the flat top part. So it's going to ask me which part again. I don't want the front part. I don't want that part. I want this part here. So now I've done it. It's shelled. I have a little opening there. But now I want to close that opening. So I've got to make geometry to do that. Sometimes these lines don't always line up, but let's try it. Let's pick that endpoint and that point. Pick that point. And sometimes it says quadrant if it's the end of some geometry. There. And again, endpoint. And endpoint. Not sure if I've done that one there. Endpoint. I'll zoom in to get that point again. Endpoint. So I'm going to hide this part here. And see if I've done all four, which I have. So we want to make a surface first in order to extrude a solid, but I realize I am missing one corner there. It would have told me anyway. Let's try that and see what happens. Let's try a surface, and I do Apple A. It says gaps detected. And to see what happens, I'll do it again. And this time, pay attention to what happens up here when I do it. Okay, I'll do Apple A again. And two little blue dots come up, two triangles come up, telling me that I've got a gap in that surface. And that happens a lot of times when you're doing complicated geometry. I did it, this time it worked. So we're going to do the same thing, the same dimensions we did before. So we're going to come down and extrude on Z. And it's sometimes hard to pick. So I'm going to do it this way. Isometric again. Rotate it. Isometric. And I lost it. Let's try it again. Along Z. I do 0.065. Let's just try 65. We extrude it. Again, do you remember the extrude tool? The second one in on this one here. Extruding a solid. Pick the surface. Endpoint. Endpoint. We're going to choose the surface on the ambiguity box and hide it. We're going to do Apple F to fit. And we're going to pick the part. And there we've got it insets into there nicely. We can figure a way of putting it in there. I'm going to change that color just to red, just so you can see it. That it is a separate part. And it should snug right in there. Let's take a look. It should snug right in there, and it does. There's, if we want to put a controller button on here. We're not sure. I don't know what's happening with the design, but if we had needed a circle in there for that, we could do that and have it pop out and in. We have to figure out how to secure it, but at least we've made allowances for it.